States are mobilizing on this issue as well as many others in a way I haven't seen in decades. And they are mobilizing because they understand right now that they need to reach out and they need to create the bonds of friendship and the bonds of freedom that have joined Greenland and the United States now for 80 years. And I will close with this. I'm the daughter of a World War II veteran, as is Senator Peters. My dad taught me that freedom was everything. He survived the Battle of the Bulge. He came back to the United States so grateful for having survived it, but also with a deep understanding of how important freedom is and how important it is that we are all determined to preserve it. And I know you all are too. That's what binds us, and that's why we're going to move forward together, work to repair the trust that has been broken, find new partnerships and new ways of working together so that we can all be strong and free together. Thank you.
I think we have time for a few questions before we meet with the Foreign Minister. Yes, ma'am.
From the New York Times, really nice to see all of you, and thank you for doing this. I think that the Greenlanders have two questions right now in order to find some calm and rebuild the trust. That would be really great to get as clear as possible of an answer to. First of all, what do you know about the negotiations going on right now?
We don't know much except that they have been respectful and that they are focusing on the right issues, which is security. But I think the first, there's only been one or two meetings, so I think it's still very preliminary. But I think the president's change of rhetoric at Davos reflected to some significant extent what we've seen among our constituents and the political atmosphere in the United States, where there was little or no support for this idea that he had. In addition, I think it was important that the allies made it clear that they weren't supportive. So the short answer to your question is I don't really know a great deal about the negotiations, but my understanding is that they've been respectful and so far positive.
Second question.
If I can just add a little to that, because we have had an opportunity to meet with the Prime Minister, and in meetings with other officials here in Greenland, nobody has said that they think that the meetings are not including them in a way that is meaningful. And so we haven't heard anything to the negative, which I think is as important as understanding what may or may not have been said. But it's clear to me that the Greenlanders feel that they have a meaningful seat at the table.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, can you guarantee that the president will not change his mind?
That was one of the first questions we got yesterday. The answer is no. We can only exert our role as a separate and co-equal branch of government, but we can't guarantee what the president may or may not do tomorrow, let alone 2 months from now. On the other hand, we do have some control. Senator Murkowski mentioned through the appropriations process, for example. So the answer is no guarantee, but right now I think our feeling is that the immediate crisis has passed, and these security arrangements that are being discussed, I think, will be fruitful. My frustration is that if the president's concern was national security in the Arctic, those concerns could have been allayed with a phone call to the Greenlandic people, to the Prime Minister and to the Kingdom of Denmark a year ago, or 6 months ago, or 2 months ago. But I wish I could provide a guarantee, but I can't.
Got one more, I think.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, during your stay in Greenland, there are really many Chinese and Russian vessels around the island, according to President Donald Trump.
And that's not true. We've determined that that's not true.
Thank you.
That was one of our questions, and it's not true. And it's also not true that the Greenlandic defense consists mostly of sled dogs. We met yesterday with the Joint Arctic Command, and they have significant resources. And between the Kingdom and Greenland, there's I think $14 billion of national security investment taking place in this country. So the two statements that somehow Chinese and Russians were circling the island, were present in the oceans, our information is that that's not true, and that the security arrangements are very strong and getting stronger. Sir.
Greenlandic Broadcasting Corporation. I have a question for you, Senator Murkowski. Why don't we see more Republican senators express your view and visit Greenland, as you said to us a couple of months ago?
I'm going to encourage all senators, all members of the Congress to visit Greenland to understand better not only Greenland, but again, how this trans-Arctic alliance is so significant to us in the United States. You're asking about specific party. I was with a delegation in Copenhagen just a couple of weeks ago. There were a couple Republicans on that visit. There is there's just a demand on time. We get that. But I will also speak to the fact that there are some members of my party who don't want to be seen as engaging in anything that might be viewed as contrary to President Trump's initiative or desire, and so who may not be speaking out publicly on the issue of Greenland specifically. But I will tell you, I have had more than my share of conversations with fellow Republicans who have said there is a red line when it comes to occupying, owning, controlling, taking over Greenland. Greenland, again, is our friend. They are our ally. We are a NATO partner. We do not take over. We do not invade our NATO allies. And so, while they may not have come out with strong statements, they have made clear to me that to them that is a red line. I'm going to encourage them that they need to be more vocal in reinforcing that, because this should not be a partisan issue. Sovereignty, respect for the sovereignty of another nation, respect for our NATO allies, that should not be Democrat, Republican. It should be just pro-democracy.
Apologies, we do have just time for a few more questions.
Cecily from the Danish Broadcasting Corporation. So Congress is, of course, a very powerful part of the American democracy, but I think as a European right now, there is a sentiment that maybe it can be bypassed by the president. Is that a threat that you take seriously?
Yes. This president has acted unilaterally in a great number of areas. In fact, there are only two major pieces of legislation that have been passed in the first year of his administration. All the rest of the activities of the administration have been largely unilateral. And I believe that the Congress has abdicated its responsibility to be a co-equal branch of government. And this is something that's going to be worked through as we work into the remainder of this administration, and particularly we have midterm elections coming up in something like 9 months. I think the people will have something to say about that. The framers of our Constitution very deliberately separated power because of their concern, based upon human nature, that when power is concentrated in one set of hands, it will almost inevitably be abused. And we have been unfortunately living that for some time now, and proving the framers' wisdom day by day. But it's time for, I believe, for the Congress to reassert itself, not necessarily because it disagrees with the president's priority, but because the separation of powers is a fundamental. It's not a bug in our system. It's a fundamental feature of our system, which, frankly, I believe our Congress has not lived up to that responsibility. But
To
again, the
add
answer to your
to
question
that.
is yes.
Keep in mind that the Congress is there, the executive is there, but the judiciary, the judicial branch is extraordinarily important in this regard. And I'll give you a specific case in point that relates directly to the situation here with Greenland. You'll recall prior to the president making this statement as he did in Davos, where he took off the table this notion that there could potentially be a military takeover, military use of force with Greenland. It was the discussion of tariffs, wasn't it? He was going to impose tariffs arbitrarily on those countries that had sent individuals, even if it was just two members of their military, to come to Greenland for what? To provide for additional security. So it was seemingly inconsistent as to why he was imposing them, other than to assert his level of influence. The problem that he has with that is that his ability to exert tariffs in this way has been challenged not only in the Congress, where myself and a good handful of other Republicans challenged that, but more importantly by the courts. And that is in the process of going through the Supreme Court now. As most observers would suggest, it appears that that the administration's assertion of the president's authority in that is not on very sound footing, and so you recognize that we have a role in the Congress, but the judiciary is, you can call them our backstop, or you can call them the next check, but it all comes together when we assert our authority.
Right, and I would just add to that, what doesn't make the news very much is how many of the president's actions have been challenged in court, and how generally the challenges to those actions have resulted in rulings against the president. What has happened a lot is after the president is ruled against, the administration just drops out of the case, and so money starts flowing the way it should again. So I want people to know that it's not just action at the Supreme Court, which I have my disagreements with at times. We all do. That's the nature of our system. But at the lower level federal courts, we are seeing challenges to the president be successful a large percentage of the time.
I'm sorry, we need to wrap it up. We have a very important meeting that we're already running a couple minutes late for with the foreign minister.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you all very much. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Possible to get that program? Email?
Yeah. Let me do it from our flight.
Great.
You
Thank
can
you.
email me. Okay? Email
Thank
me
you.
so I'll just hit reply.
Okay, thank you.
And when are you flying?